Okay, this example, we are going to convert from general form to standard form. So let's start with an equation. X squared plus y squared plus 4x plus 6y equals 3. Okay. So this is in general form, and we want to convert it to standard form. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to rewrite this equation, and we're going to change the order, and we're going to leave some space here. I'll show you. So we put the x squared, and the 4x we want with the x squared. So I'm going to put the 4x right there, and then I'm going to do a plus, and I'm going to leave a blank. And I like to draw a line there, which indicates that's something that needs to be filled in. And then we'll do the same thing with the y squared, and the 6y goes with that. And then we're going to eventually add something there. So I'm going to leave a blank, and then I've got the 3, and now I like to do this, because this means if I add something to the left-hand side, it reminds me that I also have to add something to the right-hand side. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at this 4 right here. This is the coefficient of the x term. And I'm going to come over to the side. This is my side work right up here. And I take that 4 and I divide it by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then at this point I'm going to square it, and I get 4. And kind of disregard that you're ending up with what you started with, because that's just what happens when you divide 4 by 2 and square it. It doesn't always work out that way. So we took the coefficient of the x term, which is 4, we divided it by 2, we squared it, and we got 4. So I'm going to add it right here, and then because I added it to the left-hand side, I have to add it to the right-hand side. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing with the coefficient of the y term. So I'm going to take the coefficient of y, which is 6. There's another little side spot right here. So I'm going to take the 6 and I'm going to divide that by 2. We always divide by 2, and we end up with 3. And then if I square 3, I get 9. And so now I'm going to add the 9 right here, and if I add it to the left, I must also add it to the right. Now here's where the magic happens. So if you remember when we converted from standard form to general form, how we expanded the binomial, in other words, we multiplied it out. So this is what it looks like when it's multiplied out. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor it, or we're going to unmultiply it, if you will. We're going to go in reverse. So we always start by making our parentheses, and then the easy way to do it is to say, look at the first term and say x squared. The square root of x squared is x. And then I look at this term over here, the 4, and I say the square root of 4 is 2. So the 2 goes right here. Oops. There we go. The 2 goes right there. And it's plus because this is plus and this is plus. And then of course it's squared. Let's do the same thing with the y term. Make my brackets, and then I look at this and I say, oh, there's a y squared. The square root of y squared is y. That goes right there. And then I look at this right here, the 9. The square root of the 9 is 3. This is plus, so this is also plus. And then I add up all this on the right-hand side, and 3 plus 4 plus 9, I think that's 16. And so now I have successfully put this in standard form, and I want to identify the center of the circle. So the center of the circle, that's my h and my k. So in this case, the h is -2, and the k is -3. -3. And the radius, well, that's going to be the square root of 16. And the square root of 16 is, so that's how you convert from general form to standard form, and then identify the center and the radius.